See if it comes in later. We do have a quorum here. All right, 9 o'clock. We'll call to order the meeting. First on the agenda, case MI 2024-2, Gary Torkelson Minor Subdivision. Could all introduce yourselves, name and address, and then we'll begin with you presenting your case.
I'm Bill Davies with Davies Land Surveying in Chesterton. This is Gary Torkelson, 214 South State Road 2, Porter Township. We're here for a primary plat approval for a 4-lot minor subdivision. One of the lots in the subdivision will stay with the family. That's going to be lot 1. It is intended that the son will own the lot who's sitting right here. Lots 3 and 4 they plan on selling in the near future. Lot 2 they may hold on to for a little while. We had some variances approved recently. We had some questions about a drainage easement. We did update that from the last time we were before the county, and I think that kind of catches us up to date.
Very good. And the gentleman with you, can introduce yourself as well, for the record.
I'm Gary Torkelson. I'm the property owner.
Very good.
It's in mine and my wife's name, but my wife passed away in March, so I'll have to provide a death certificate.
Very good.
The other stuff at some point.
Okay. We'll start around the table. David?
The applicant had submitted a package on, let's see, we received it on January 30th. We went through 4 engineering reviews where conformance was ultimately found on May 28th, 2024. The only outstanding comment was the concept of the proposed public and or common improvements and the work that would be required there were financial surety prior to secondary. Are there any questions about that process?
Yes, I talked to you about that, David.
Yes, same.
Yeah, I talked to you on the phone. I don't remember, but
oh, right, okay.
We talked about that second drive, and you said it was my responsibility to put the drive in there,
right,
within county regulations. I talked to a contractor, and he said as soon as we can get the property identified, easement identified, he can either put the drive in for me or give me a quote that I can get a surety bond.
Okay, that's right. We did speak about that.
And he's talking like it's he roughly estimates it's only going to be $4,000 or $5,000. So
right,
I might just have him put the drive in, and as long as he knows the requirements of the county, he says he does. So
right,
that he can pull a permit for that and all that.
Yeah, we obviously can't dictate which of those 2 paths you take, but given the magnitude of what you're dealing with, sounds like a pretty good idea.
And just to clarify, is this a driveway between lots 3 and 4?
Correct. It would be anything that would be essentially consider it like if someone were to buy a property and that weren't to be done, they now don't own something that's just kind of floating in space with nothing.
Sure.
Yep. Those are all my comments.
Dan?
Yeah, so I had talked last week. My concern was with the pond, and if we're outletting perimeter drains to the pond, it's got to have an overflow feature. It was indicating to me that there is an overflow feature there, and it's a pipe that kind of goes to the south, and there's like a drain way or something that it empties into. My only comment would be we need to make sure that overflow feature stays clear and open and flowing, because if we have to run perimeter drain outlets to that pond for drainage, then if that's not clear, it can overflow, and then your drain outlets are underwater for the septic systems. So just that needs to be maintained. So if it's like overgrown and stuff, just make sure it stays open and flowing. So
now, I think I spoke to you too about that.
Okay.
I identified the outlet. I had an excavator come over, and he took water and put it in the standard pipe and down below. Found it.
Yeah.
I marked it, but this has been several years ago. I'm on the property like 20
right. I would just make sure it's open flowing, and if you have like some riprap or something near that outlet, just to make sure it stays clear and everything, I think that would be a good idea.
That's exactly what we'll do. In fact,
Okay.
Riprap over there now.
Okay.
Putting around the pond.
That was my only comment.
The only problem is it it's dry now, but if it's
Right.
wet, that's a lower area. That's kind of a wetland. As long as I can get a tractor down there,
Right.
we should still be able to identify. If we can't, maybe I'll put some water-based paint or something in there to see where white water-based paint, see where it's coming out at on the other end. So,
Yeah, there's like tracer
yeah,
that you get.
Absolutely.
So
but I can tell.
yeah, that's my only comment is just make sure that flows because that gets clogged and we're
It's never been a problem, but you know, it's I understand you're sitting there.
Yeah.
Because it's a stagnant pond. There's no spring or anything. It's just drain water.
okay. All right.
Is that it?
Yep.
Kevin?
You're doing more access off of State Road 2, just the existing house is
That's correct. We have a no access easement through there.
You didn't have to deal with the state highway. County highway's not here, but you still need to get your permits for access for your drives prior to any permits being released. And one of the big discussions last time, I think, was identifying your septic fields and getting that all sorted out for drainage. It sounds like everything's satisfied from there.
Yeah, I looked at the plat. Where the soil borings were taken. I think there's enough. I mean, there's enough fall there for drain outlets. My concern was if we're taking them directly to the edge of the pond, then we need to make sure that.
Right, we need to make sure there's a positive outlet for
Right.
drainage as well as for the septic field, because the subsurface drains for the septic field are below what you might normally store water in. We make sure that those outlets are storage.
Right. Yeah, I believe everything is good. We did on sites for all the lots, so and we wrote up specs and everything. So because he had to get soil borings for each proposed lot, so I think we're all right with that.
Looks like we're open to them.
Anything else?
Nope.
Okay, we'll go to staff. Kelly, do you have any comments?
I do not.
Rich?
I'm good, thank you.
Monica, anything outstanding? Very good. Any final comments you guys want to make? Any comments?
Pardon?
Any comments you guys want to add?
He said, "Any comments? Are you good?"
Oh yeah, no, I'm fine. Yeah, maybe I just want to ask, what's the process from today on to finalize it?
Well, today, if we vote to approve, then there'll be a 30-day wait period before you have your plat.
Right.
To start. Yes.
I think I do just want to ask a question. I noticed that on the plat, the secondary plat, or the primary plat, excuse me, there's shown conservation easement. Should that easement, since we're draining those septics in there, should that also be called something else to allow that to happen?
Good question. I would defer to you, LS's.
Well, or yeah, probably be have a drainage easement as well. Yeah, as conservation, a good idea. Because drainage, I think, would cover both the stormwater and the septic fields.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. You okay with that? Dave?
You would also want to make sure that I meant to print off a copy of the plan set. I believe the other driveway that you are constructing intersects with 450 West. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So you'd want to stop by our office upstairs to get a driveway permit. So you definitely want to do that before you get started, and that's also where you could go to get your erosion sediment control permit when you're ready to get cracking on that.
Correct.
The driveway permit's a pretty straightforward process. I think typically from application to having it done is typically within a week-ish.
That's a driveway permit, you said?
Correct. Yep. We can help you with that upstairs.
That's upstairs. That's the stormwater management.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
And being Martin isn't here, is there anything else that you would think he would add to the conversation?
I think that Rob could help him out with whatever he needed to do there.
Very good. Okay. So you'll make those changes to the
Yes.
conversations. Very good. So, gentlemen, what's your pleasure?
I'll make a motion that we approve subject to the changes that were suggested today.
I'll second.
And second, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign. Congratulations. Good luck.
Thank you so much for your help.
All right, with my piece of paper. There it is. Next item on the agenda is case MI 2024 Jacob Peabody, Boiling Springs Farm Minor Subdivision. Morning, Dave.
Good morning. I'm Dave Tiemans from Tiemans Land Surveying, 223rd Court in Demont. As you stated, I'm here representing Thomas Peabody, the current owner. Jacob is the proposed buyer of Lot 1, which is the small lot in the front. It's relative, obviously. It's about 14 acres south of Greer Acres Administrative Subdivision, and it's proposed to be 2 lots. You can see in the back of the property there's currently several structures. The proposed building would be all the way in the front. We have gone through planning staff as well as stormwater staff and received favorable recommendations on both of those. The stormwater report determined that there was no net increase from adding the additional driveway and residence. We also have went through the BZA hearing officer and asked for half a dozen variances. Those all include the reduction in lot frontage on lots 1 and 2, the lot to width ratio on lot 2, since it goes all the way to the back of the property. All the accessory structures between the principal residence and the right-of-way on lot number 2, as well as no sidewalks and street plantings on lots 1 and 2. So those were all granted at the last hearing officer meeting. And so we are here today to ask for primary plat approval for 2 lots. This is on east side of 375, just south of 400 and north of Route 30 in Union Township. I do have Jacob Peabody here also in case there are any specific questions. Thank you.
Welcome. David?
Yes, the applicant had put in, stormwater received the first submittal on this job July 22nd of 2024. And after 2 engineering reviews, Mr. McNabb from our office found conformance in a letter dated August 13th, 2024, as Mr. Tiemans had alluded to. I have no other comments.
Dan?
Yeah, we received soil borings. We did an on-site. Lot 1 would support a septic system. With the lot in the back, the existing residence, is that currently occupied?
Yes.
Okay, so there's no intent of
We're not changing anything.
changing that or anything in the future. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, that's all I have. I don't have any comments or concerns.
Very good. Kevin?
Yeah, this might be the opportunity to make sure you know where the septic system is for the existing house that you have. And I consider if you haven't had it honey dipped for a while, to get the tank cleaned out, you should do that every 4 years. Dan, you had no issues with the slopes or this?
I mean, I think there's enough space there where we'll hit a boring and be able to get a system in there. I mean, there are some steep slopes there, but I think we can overcome that. They're not like all through there, but
I think most of those are going to be west of the house,
right,
south of the house. So I think we should be.
we're in the area of the borings. I think we're good.
Yeah.
At least in some.
Typically, you have usable acreage.
Yeah. Well, we don't do the usable acreage anymore. We can't do that anymore. So we just.
According to the state.
Yes.
Well, we are 1.8 acres also.
Yeah.
We should have that regardless.
Well, that's not the issue. The area, it's a usable area.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Easements and whatever.
Yeah, we can no longer ask for that because of legislation passed last year. So.
Yeah, because that usually boils us down to a little over an acre.
Right. I'm just saying with 1.84 acres, I think we could still accommodate that, even that it's not required.
Right.
I believe I looked up the report, and I think it's, I mean, for a 3-bedroom, like 900 square feet. I mean, it's pretty decent soil there and everything, and I think we'll be able to fit something in
I don't disagree. It's just
Yeah.
typical. What
Yeah.
we had, and this is the first one I've seen without the usable acres.
Yeah, it's just because
But I'm sure it has enough. It's just not an issue, and is the existing house in flood hazard area or
No, it's actually, I delineated it along the back side of the house. There you can see a delineation of where the DNR best available flood elevation's at. So that's
I see it now.
well past the house.
Just for future reference, you just want to make sure you don't have any structures down below that level. In fact, the residence is supposed to be a couple feet above that elevation.
Yeah.
And in both cases, really, because they'll use the nearest one, and that's not going to be an issue here. Okay, that's all.
Kelly?
I have no comments.
Rich, you made a lot of comments on previous submittals. Have all those been satisfied?
Yes.
Any other comment?
No, we're good.
Okay.
Yeah, my only other comment before would have been with the our driveway maintenance and the agreements and everything being in place, because it's not always going to be in the family.
You want that as a condition on the plat?
What's that? They've listed it up here.
They did list it. Okay. I thought you were questioning they did.
No, before the previous versions of this, but here we have it.
Just a quick comment. That verbiage for the driveway maintenance will be required at the time of secondary plat, so we will have it on there.
Right, thank you.
Did you hear that, Dave?
Yes.
Okay. You have final things you want to address?
No, I think that's probably the only thing that I need to add for the secondary, assuming that you approve primary.
What's the committee's pleasure?
I'll make a motion that we approve Boiling Springs Farm Minor Subdivision.
second.
Motion is second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
Congratulations.
I'll wait 30 days.
Yeah. This next one.
Next case, MI 2024-16, the Hamster Group, John Fulkerson, represented by Adam McAlpine. Name and address for the record, please.
Adam McAlpine, 398 East 400 North, Valparaiso, Indiana. Good morning, everyone. Here, good timing that Dave Tiemens has joined us. I'm here with Dave Tiemens and John Fulkerson. We are the engineer survey and development team representing Dollar General, and in our intention to construct a Dollar General at the south end, well, outside town limits of Hebron, eventually to be annexed. There's been a lot of discussion with staff with regard to this. There is a memorandum of understanding that exists between the town and the county as it relates to the eventual annexation, but because it is within the county, was here yesterday evening seeking a variance on this project, and we're here today for the DRC to continue discussions regarding the project. The plans have been submitted. It's a Dollar General store. It's a DG Market store, so it's a small grocery store, 10,640 square feet with 50 parking spaces off of South Main Street. The town's anxious to get the store because there isn't another grocery store in town, and this DG Market fills that gap in a lot of these rural areas to create local grocers, and that's really the market lately. There is talk a little bit about utilities. The utilities will be served by the town of Hebron. I have a will serve letter. I noticed that came up in one of the comments from the planning division, so we will provide that. That's been drafted by the town's legal counsel, providing water and sewer, which is at the northeast end of the proposed development. Stormwater has been designed in conformance with the county's requirements as it outlets to the southeast and then into the culvert. So we've throttled that to be stored in conformance with the the county standards. But I believe the town will also be looking at the drainage report. I think, Dave, anything you want to add from a surveyor's standpoint?
I guess to go into the items that were discussed, we had a meeting with staff a few weeks ago because of the issue of the annexation versus the county. And I think we've kind of come up with something collaboratively. So I do have a revised plat here that I can provide to you at this meeting, but I only brought the one copy, so for now I'll keep it. And there's really no other changes other than the fact that we removed the building lines graphically from the plat and put together a written commitment sequence, five items on there. Generally, that state the following commitments are hereby effective and applicable if the parcel is not annexed into the town of Hebron. And then we list 5 items, being the front setback shall be 100 feet from the right-of-way line, and I referenced the UDO information. The second item is the rear setback shall be 20 feet, referencing the UDO standards. The side setback shall be 10 feet per the UDO standards. The sidewalk should be constructed along the full width of the lot per UDO, referencing the UDO standards. And the street plan should be installed per the UDO referenced item. So I have that under all the items that would be under the deed of dedication, including drainage, utility easement, and as well as an MOU reference to be later added with the document number that will be recorded along with the plat. So I think those are major changes since the plat was originally submitted for this project. There was site-specific items. I mean, there was some right-of-way that was previously dedicated per document, and so that area was noted as 0.04 acres heretofore dedicated, as well as another 1/10 of an acre that's hereby dedicated that includes the area from the section line to the 30-foot right-of-way line from the center line of the road. So that's the only difference there. We do also note on here currently the current zoning, which is CN and R1, which would be CN would be that part of the property that is, if you look at the property line to the north, the Harry Fruscage Living Trust, that area east would be the CN, and everything on the west of that line would be R1. We also note the proposed zoning, which, as anticipated, being annexed, which would be C2 and for the town of Hebron. I think that's really the only significant items other than what Adams has mentioned.
Anything else?
No, nothing further. Thank you.
Before we go to staff, maybe some clarification. Hebron approached us. That's why the MOU or Memorandum of Understanding was put together. You're correct. Hebron is desirous of annexation of this property. But before the annexation, we wanted to get the subdivision going.
Mm-hmm.
We will hold filing of the subdivision plat until such time Hebron does hold an annexation here, or schedule one. As far as the county's concerned, we just want to adhere to the subdivision ordinance portion. As far as development, we're assuming Hebron will annex, and then it'll be their rules that apply for development of the site plan. At that time, our only concern will be, as David probably will address, is stormwater runoff into the county. I think that's the simplest way I guess I can put that.
Yeah.
So if there are any questions of that, is that your understanding as well?
It is. I appreciate all the coordination. We needed a roadmap for a project like this, and that
Yeah, it's kind of a chicken egg thing.
Yeah, definitely.
But our expectation and discussion with the town of Hebron that they're anxious to annex it, we fully expect that they'll schedule an hearing if they have not done so already. But we will hold filing of anything or recording anything until such time.
Yep. And Todd Leith is legal counsel for Hamster, and that is in process.
Very good. With that, I'll start with the board member, David.
Yeah, so I was at their pre-application meeting, and again, I would just need direction on when all that goes through, the letter that I would ultimately need to write to address. Because again, if Hebron does the annexation, then our review would just be limited to looking at the release rate in your stormwater calculations. In the event that it were not to be annexed, then the plan would get reviewed against the full gamut of Porter County standards.
Mm-hmm.
So, is there a time estimate yet as to when this may all take place, or?
We have the annexation is in process. The fiscal plan is being done as we speak.
Okay.
Engineering is being reviewed. There's we can't schedule a hearing until the initial documents are done by the attorney, which should be done this week, we believe.
Okay.
Or next week at the latest. So hopefully sometime within the next 30 to 45 days.
Okay. So, just to be clear from Mike, you mentioned that this is being held until that time. So we're getting to the point where their submittal is either what I would be working on next or the thing I'd be working on after. It's either number 1 or number 2 in my list right now of things to get to. So, am I deferring this letter until annexation then?
Till they schedule an annexation meeting is what I worked with the county attorney on.
Okay.
Once
So
they've scheduled it.
I just don't want anybody to be waiting on me if so again, I'll probably start looking at it, but I'll hold off on publishing that letter until I get a green light.
The day they announce the schedule and the day of the meeting probably give you adequate time in between to do all that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's 20 days.
Very good.
Also, for the record, I want to say if it's not reflected on your plat, did you list that you did get a variance issued yesterday?
I do have I forgot that. I did add the notation for variance for 50, 30-foot right away.
Very good. Dan?
I mean, if they're hooking onto Hebron sewer and water, I don't have too many comments. It's just if that were not to happen and the referees proceed with it, then they would have to apply to the state Department of Health for a septic system and specs and get soil borings and things like that to service it with a septic system, but a commercial septic system. But otherwise, I don't have any additional comments.
Thanks, Dan. Kevin?
Yeah, I was curious what the hearing officer offered as far as variances, and Mike kind of covered that. And you'll need to have the variances listed on your plan as well. Since I don't have the plan in front of me, your stormwater easements and that kind of thing on the plan.
We do.
There's a pond at the south side of
We don't have the I guess we don't have the stormwater easement shown in there. I didn't have the information from Adam as to where that was going to stand. So that would be added.
We can deal with it. You got out of one of the drawings, I could see where the detention was set up.
Mm-hmm.
The water was diverted because one of the things that was move the swales, the grass swale, which is part of a NRCS project. Your landowner's getting some benefit as long as that's functional.
Mm-hmm.
As far as payback, otherwise, if that's not protected, there's monetary loss to whoever the landowner is that was involved with that. You're diverting it back up to a tributary of Cop Creek. That's not a regulated drain, by the way. The next regulated drain would be Cop Creek to the east,
okay,
which is north-south, or Dogleg Ditch, which is about a mile to the south of and about 950 south.
Okay.
So we don't really have easements across those tributaries, but I just thought I'd bring it up. I don't think that's a showstopper. Have you made arrangements with your utilities, because something like this you really need sanitary sewer, and make sure that you are on the same page with the utility, likewise with water. And I would suggest you start working on your permits for both.
definitely. Yeah, we've been in coordination with the town. They'll likely have comments regarding water and sewer.
Out, but the utility, she had a separate vehicle, and I just couldn't remember that.
Oh, well, MCO serves as the manager of
Okay.
utilities for the town, and they've been present at these meetings. And
What comments have they had?
there were some comments related to extending the water main across the frontage.
Okay.
And so we're still in discussions. Right now, we show the hydrant, a new hydrant being placed in front of the building, but we weren't intending to extend the water, more or less cap it, stick a pipe right there. But if they want it extended across the frontage, that can be done.
And they're
Comment that they made on that is to have a valve at the end there.
Okay.
and that's the 20-foot utility easement world.
Exactly. That that would go within that 20-foot.
There's been a lot of discussion because of other potential commercial and industrial use to the south about extension of all this. So this is kind of on track with the development of Hebron, but still there needs to be that discussion with Hebron Utility.
Okay.
Anything else, Kelly?
Nope.
Kelly?
I did still have some pending items on my review note. Just from what I've heard Dave share, it sounds like he addressed those. But I would like to get a finalized copy myself so we can give it a quick once over on that. My only question was really the MOU was specific in terms of asking for a 50-foot right of way, and I know that they got the variance to go down to 30-foot. I guess my question is if we've granted a variance to an MOU that was signed by the commissioners, is there any need for this case to be heard by the commissioners and the change in that MOU? That would just be my only question.
I take it as at the time, what we knew at the time, it was 50 foot.
Okay.
And because the variance was heard, that would be satisfactory for that. At least it's recorded, the steps of the way. We certainly can run it by the commissioners. I don't have a problem with that.
It was recorded prior as the 30-foot?
I'm sorry?
Are you saying that it was recorded prior as the 30-foot right away?
No, we just made mention of the MOU because that's what we knew at the time because of the ARO. And because, we said they would have that, but I think them going to the BZA hearing officer trumps that because it would be a requirement of the ARO. Not that we invented 50 foot. We were simply pointing out that the ARO, just as a point of emphasis, says 50 foot. You exercise the mechanism of going to the BZA, you get a variance on that. And that's how I'm viewing that.
That's all I had.
Very good. Rich?
Nope, my questions were all answered.
Very good.
I did have one more question.
Monica, any outstanding issues, Monica? Very good. Go ahead, Kevin.
The US 231, where do we stand as far as the highway permits for access?
Oh, yeah. We've been in some preliminary. We haven't formally applied for a commercial drive permit, but we have had some conversations. They've requested the curb and gutter be extended. That's why you see it there with some curb turnouts. They did ask about they asked about the nearby drive to the wastewater pump station. I told them that's not a private drive; it's just to be serviced. But no, probably within the next few weeks we'll make that application.
Yeah, that's just something to be aware of. And of course, it's going to be comprehensive because it's a state. Something you're going to have to do regardless of whether you're county.
Definitely.
Might as well proceed doing that.
Okay. So, anybody else comment? Do you guys have any final comments?
I do. Kelly, can I ask you, the letter caught me by surprise with some of the comments. Would you mind just letting us know, either now or later, if those comments still apply? Sidewalks, trees and shrubs, those type.
Once you submit that, I'll do a quick review on that, and I'll
Okay.
send out that letter.
It was based on a letter Kelly wrote on August 29th, correct?
Yeah, this plat should address all those. The only exception would be is the addition of the drainage easement on the on-site pond. That would need to be added. That'd be the only exception to everything that was discussed.
Anything else? So we'll take it to a vote, but preface it to say, if you're going to make a motion to do it, it'd be subject to them satisfying the requirements of the letter of 82924, the items that they needed to attend to, and Kennetham's additional comment on the drainage easement to the pond.
Correct.
Is that what everybody understood? Can I entertain a motion?
I'll make the motion that we approve it subject to the department's letter of 82924, include the drainage easement. Anything else you're directed by the department to do at this time?
Second. Dan seconds. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Opposed? Same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
So look forward to getting your revised document. Anything else anybody wants to bring up?
Do you think maybe we just
Okay, we stand adjourned.
follow that carriage walk and then however you draw it?
Oh, that's fun.
Is this represents the high water level? That's what this
On what?
The plan go around it, so
That makes
I don't have to worry.
I guess
Storm sewer, don't worry, that's private.
popular, so there's
Then this all, of course, becomes an easement